Will the dream continue for Leicester City? Another tough task travelling to play against Arsenal at the Emirates. We're talking about it here on TYT Sports, so let's talk some tactics. Straight to Arsenal's lineup and how we imagine they will face off against top of the table Leicester. Petr in goals. Bellerin. Paulista is expected to start again, despite the fact that Mertesacker could come back. I think for Arsenal fans, with the pace of Jamie Vardy, I think Paulista is a smarter choice, even if Mertesacker is ready to come in. Koscielny and Monreal at the back. Flamini and Ramsey holding that holding midfielder position. You've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, who seems to be coming back into a fine run of form. His goal against Bournemouth was definitely an impressive one. Ozil, instrumental in that game. Key factor in this game will highlight how Arsenal will try and find a way to allow room for their best player. Sanchez, looking to come back into form now that he's back into the team. And Olivier Giroud. So, what have Leicester City been doing so well, which is kind of flown under the radar? Because you see Vardy, you see Mahrez, and you're like, wow, these guys are really destroying teams. But how are they not conceding goals is what I want to ask you, the audience, and I will answer it for you. It's because they are nullifying the best players on their opposing team. David Silva could not find that pocket in there. When he did, he just didn't, I wouldn't say, had enough options off the ball when they played Manchester City. When they played against Liverpool, the exact same thing happened. They're doing a great job. Kante and Drinkwater specifically are doing a fantastic job of neutralising the biggest threat on the opposing team. Who's the biggest threat? It has to be the assist machine, Mesut Ozil. How does Arsenal free up space for him? They need to go back to basics like they did against Bournemouth, because Bournemouth tried to frustrate Ozil as well. What do? They alternate their attack. So what I mean by this is, rather than Arsenal's go-to, right, where you expect Mesut Ozil to try and find the ball in here, he's going to be crowded out by Kante and Drinkwater like they did against Man City. But what you need to do is start isolating the wide areas. Utilise your width. Bellerin is a very good and attacking-minded right back. And what happened with him against Bournemouth is he found the ball in this area, he took on his man, found space in here. And what this does then is it poses a question. If I'm Drinkwater, do I step in here or just hold my position? Now, I don't think Leicester have been tested enough in this situation to see that example come to life. I haven't seen Drinkwater overcommit or Kante overcommit, but all it takes is that one, I would say, bit of innovation from someone like Bellerin that allows that question to be answered. And in asking that question, what he's hoping for is Ozil to be able to find some space in here, whether it is fired into his feet, and therefore he's only one-on-one against Kante. Still a tough, I would say, decision to be made. But nonetheless, you're breaking that system. What they have to do then is go with either a simple ball into feet or alternate their attack, which they did against Bournemouth, which Bellerin just floated a ball into the back post. Giroud pushed his defender right onto the last man. The ball found its way to Ozil, and it was in the back of the net. It's not as pretty as the typical Arsenal football. I understand that. At the Emirates, you're expecting a pretty football, but Leicester can handle that. They're comfortable in the chaos of the ball being knocked around. The only time I've seen Leicester somewhat weak is in a switch-up of the attack, isolating their centre-backs to be susceptible to a ball breaking to the edge of the box, because Kante and Drinkwater are the unsung heroes. They're the ones that are doing all the pressure and all over the field. So Arsenal, if they have a chance at scoring in this game, need to try and break that pairing. They need to draw one of them out 2 feet, and that will only happen is if you throw an extra man forward. You throw forward Bellerin. You throw forward Monreal. And trust me, that's the only way you're going to break this bank, because those 2 banks of 4 are like Atletico Madrid in their prime in La Liga. That's the only way Leicester are going to, I would think, show some signs of conceding. So that's what Arsenal have to do. And of course, they need to be wary of how Leicester are going to respond to that, which I will touch on right here. So this is how the dream team are going to line up. That back 4 that, if you were to say to me at the start of the season, would be one of the most stable back 4s we've seen in the Premier League in recent years, I would have laughed and asked what you're smoking, and if I can have some. We have Simpson at right back, Morgan, Huth and Fuchs, who have just been, I don't even have words to describe them. In partnership with Drinkwater and Kante, they've been rock solid. As I just mentioned, that's how Arsenal are going to only find a way, is by preventing Leicester from getting those men behind the ball. Don't allow Drinkwater and Kante to be that armour that they have been all season. But going forward, Mahrez, Albrighton, Okazaki and Vardy are just devastating when they get the ball into feet. So how do Leicester beat Arsenal? It's simple. They stick to what they have been doing. They hunt like the hyenas that they've been doing, and they make sure to counter-attack. So I'm going to highlight the goal that was scored against Manchester City, the goal which will go down as one of the best goals we've seen this season. Mahrez's beautiful finish from the counter-attack. But again, what wasn't sung in that? It was Mahrez's finish. It was the movement of Vardy to create the space. But Drinkwater and Kante hunting like a pack of heroes. And what it did, right, is you see the ball found its way into this area. Manchester City had possession. And here, Kante and Drinkwater understand what pressure, cover and balance is. I talk about this consistently. It means when you pressure the ball, You need to understand that you're creating this gap. So Drinkwater pressing it in here leaves this area susceptible for a nice little ball into feet. No, because Kante comes in there, covers it, and then who's the balance? Whether it's Albrighton or whether it's another Mahrez even, he fills this space in here to understand that he's covering in case the ball switches, but he's also ready to spring forward and attack. And what this does is it creates this gap in here. So Arsenal may fall into the same trap that Manchester City did. Because Fernandinho had the ball, they push forward Fabian Delph. And what this does is this creates this massive gap in here. And Leicester are already 2-3 steps ahead. They know if they win that ball, they know exactly where it's going. And what Manchester City did not do well is they didn't step up. They left that gap, and Arsenal, I think, are susceptible to doing the same again. So Leicester need to continue to pressure high and hope that this space in here becomes valid, because when that space opens up, there's only one player on Leicester's team that's thinking, I got to get there, and that's Mahrez. So they continue to pressure, continue to nullify the key players on Arsenal, and they find this ball into feet, and then from there on, it's just magic. They are all in sync. They look like they're just bombing forward. They look like they're trying to get as quick as possible. But they're all in tune with what they're doing. If Mahrez makes his run into here, he knows that Jamie Vardy's going to do this. He's going to spin and pose this reaction, so it leaves this gap in here. Or if Mahrez is making this run behind, Jamie Vardy's making this run in here. They're so in sync. It's beautiful to watch. It's some of the best counter-attacking football I've ever seen. So what they should do against Arsenal is the exact same thing they've been doing. I just wanted to highlight it here tactically so you see a little clearer. How are they doing this? How are they doing it? That is how they're doing it. The unsung heroes of Kante and Drinkwater are creating that space and winning the ball for Mahrez and Vardy to bomb forward. And if they continue to do this, I think this could be another monumental victory. I've underestimated Leicester at every single stage of the season. I'm not going to do that again today. I think it's going to be a 2-1 victory for Leicester at the Emirates. I think it's going to go down as one of the most historic games we've ever seen in the Premier League, because it may be the game that justifies why this team are going to go on and win the Premier League. Make sure to let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit me up on Twitter at Francis_Maxwell. And let's see how this weekend pans out.